So what you can see right here is our storm sales system. So I'm going to break all of this down for you. It consists of 3 pillars that I want to go through with you. Those ads look the same, like, you know, everybody else's ads. Like, if you think about it, I'm a homeowner and I scroll through Facebook, for example, and I see one ad after another. Everything looks the same.
East Texas homeowners, did you know your roof may qualify for a free replacement through insurance?
Like qualify them. So we can say, you know, do you own or rent your home? If they rent, obviously we want to disqualify them. Can ask what type of roof they have, like, and you can see exactly, okay, what zip codes were hit by hail. Pretty much the same process that you would probably do when you knock doors. Like, you're getting like harassed by door knockers while you just sit home, drink your coffee, and, you know, people actually reach out to you because you have good ads that are running in that area. Welcome to another video on my channel, and if you're a roofer, you probably know that storm season is approaching, and in general, just the prime season in roofing. And obviously, you want to use that small window of just a couple months to get as many jobs as humanly possible, get a lot of revenue in, and pretty much most of the revenue that you do throughout the year is probably going to be in that window, March to June, where, okay, storms hit, you have a lot of insurance opportunity, a lot of storms that hit, and pretty much any market. So in this video, I want to walk you through what we do for our roofing companies. I work with some roofers doing over $5 million a year, and what we do for them to help them generate as much money as possible in that time period, and obviously help as many homeowners as possible. And to be frank with you, a lot of roofers just leave money on the table by really not doing anything, and you don't want to miss out on that. You don't want to just keep doing what you've been doing for the last 10 years, because things are drastically changing right now. In the last 3 years alone, so much change when it comes to how the market works. I never ran a roofing company myself, but I work with over 30 roofing companies at the moment, so I know what they're going through, and I know exactly why a lot of roofers just leave money on the table and just don't see the success that they used to see in the past. And again, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly step by step what we do to generate insurance and storm work for most roofing companies during that time period of the year, and why it works so well. And I'm not going to hold anything back. I'm going to show you everything so you understand the whole process. And the thing is, like, a lot of people, even nowadays, are still kind of like stuck in those like old methods, like, for example, door knocking. And I'm not saying that door knocking is bad at all. It's always going to work. I mean, you're just knocking on people's doors, especially if there was a storm. It can be great. You can get a lot of jobs, but it's probably not the most efficient way of doing things, because at the end of the day, if you think about it, more and more homeowners are just pissed off at door knockers. Like, nobody wants door knockers. It's dangerous to an extent, depending on, you know, what market you're in. But either way, like, you see those no soliciting signs everywhere. Like, nobody really wants to be, you know, solicited, and nobody really wants door knockers. So that's one thing. It's just not working as well as it used to be. Second thing, there's so much competition. Like, a lot of people just don't really, you know, want door knockers. And if you think about it, like, I kind of like have a little history right here. Like, most homeowners just hate it. Most good sales reps hate it, and they just quit, because, like, if you really have an A-player sales rep, like, they know their skills and they know, hey, I'm good at closing and I want to make as much money as possible. They don't want to spend 80% of their time just knocking doors, because that's just the truth. Like, 80% of the time is spent trying to get appointments instead of actually closing deals. So the companies that have inbound leads and inbound appointments are the ones that actually win, because they can attract the best talent. Like, actual A-player like closers that actually, you know, have some skills, they want to make money and they want inbound leads. And there's companies out there right now in your market, your competition, that are getting inbound leads through advertising. So yeah, I mean, another factor, competition is super high. It's getting harder and harder by the day. You probably already realize it, and it's very complex to scale, and especially like stay efficient with it, because at scale, like, it might work if you have a small door knocking team and maybe you get 10 roofs a month from that, great. But if you click on this video, you probably want more than that, especially in the storm season where there's like so much opportunity and you want to generate the majority of your revenue in that time period. So pretty much, if you think about it, like, to really scale it up to a point where you get like 100 appointments, 200 appointments plus a month, you need a lot of door knockers. And again, not everybody, especially not the good salespeople, want to knock doors. So it's very hard to find talent, attract talent, and then also maintain it, train that talent up, like train the closers actually up to being good, and then keep them around for, you know, long enough period of time, and then, you know, make that efficient, because you got to manage all of those like operations, and you got to have managers, and it's like so much complexity, and it's so inefficient if you think about it, because it's just much more efficient ways out there. For example, the average door knocker, you know, knocks maybe 30 doors in an hour, if they're like good, if they're actually, you know, do stuff. Like 30 doors an hour, that's 33 hours of straight up door knocking to go through 1,000 doors. And if you break that down, like, if you work 8 hours a day, every single day, grinding your ass off, that's 4 days to essentially knock 1,000 doors. If you break down the numbers even further, yeah, you might get a good amount of appointments, but is this the most efficient way? Probably not, because you spend so much time to get those appointments, and all of that time could be spent actually closing deals as opposed to just knocking doors and trying to find appointments. So advertising, for example, your average CPM stands for cost per 1,000 impressions, cost per mil, is about $30. So you can literally spend $30 and get 1,000 impressions on your ads. Are 1,000 impressions equal to 1,000 doors? Probably not. You're not gonna get, you know, I don't know, 20 appointments out of 1,000 impressions on your ads. But you think about it, you can just spend a little bit of money and reach thousands and thousands of people in your local market without driving 4 hours, without having to plan the routes, and kind of like go from one door to another with all of that hassle, and you don't lift a finger. Like, you can spend $100 a day and you could reach 3,000 people every single day that reach out to you without lifting a finger. Now, does this always work in practice? Absolutely not. Chances are you already tried advertising, maybe Facebook, maybe Google, whatever it was, and it didn't work. I talked to like probably 10 roofers a day, and most of them tell me the same stuff, like low quality leads, doesn't really work. I just ended up spending money and didn't close anything. Because there's nuances to it. And in this video, I want to walk you through exactly what we do in order to attract high quality homeowners that actually need a roof and that want to work with you, so you can build a good ROI and actually make the system work. So if you make this work and if you crack the code on this, you're going to attract homeowners, that reach out to you instead of you soliciting them. So it's very important, like this mindset shift, like you're flipping the table. They're reaching out to you. So it's going to be a lot more efficient, and the people that you get are going to be a lot higher quality. Then you target specific areas, that got hit by hail without driving for hours. Like you can see maybe there was like a hailstorm, I don't know, an hour north of where you're at. So instead of driving there for an hour and kind of like having to drive back and forth and have all that hassle, like you can just pinpoint that area. You can target the zip codes, and then essentially just attract leads. And as soon as you start getting appointments there, then you can drive because you actually have appointments to go to. And then another thing is you can build a local brand and community. There's a lot of stuff that like people don't really talk about a lot when it comes to advertising, but if you run good ads, target specific areas, and actually put your brand on them, and don't just run the same generic cookie cutter ads that everybody's running, you're going to build some kind of like brand and local community. So that's an intangible factor that's also very nice. And then another thing would be a tangible ROI. It's very scalable once you crack the code. Like if for every dollar I put in, I get $10 or $15 out, you can just keep doing that pretty much as many times as you want to and actually scale your business to the next level and squeeze everything out of the storm season, that you can. And again, another thing that I already went over, A-player sales guys love inbound leads. If you can tell them, hey, you're going to get X amount of appointments inbound every day, all you need to do is drive there and close the deal, they're going to love it and they're going to stick with you forever, and you can actually build a good team culture. So you don't want to get left behind with this. Like there's literally roofing companies right now in pretty much any market. I work with some of them that have a machine where they can put $1 in and get $15, $20 out and do that as many times as they want to. And building that machine should be the priority if you really want to build a scalable business in the long term and hit $2, $3, $4, $5 million plus and even beyond that. So how do you do that? Good question. I essentially prepared a little presentation for you. So what you can see right here is our storm sales system. So I'm going to break all of this down for you. It consists of 3 pillars that I want to go through with you. And yeah, this might seem like a lot, but you got to be granular with it, and you actually got to go into depth because it's just not enough anymore, like in 2012, to kind of like paste a little picture of like a little roof and say, hey, we free estimate and just whatever, let it rip. It's not enough anymore. You got to have a good strategy because this is like the single reason why a lot of roofers don't succeed with, for example, Meta, Facebook, and Instagram ads is because they just do it the wrong way, or not even them, but the marketers. There's so many marketers out there just doing like the wrong stuff that doesn't really actually work. So if we want to start with the first pillar, it's about the ads and the lead filter. And this is by far the most important pillar because like if you don't get this wrong and you just get crappy leads on the front end that just expect a free roof or get 20 quotes and pick the cheapest one that don't actually care about quality. Like they will just pick, I don't know, line up 20 companies and just randomly pick one or whatever it is and just go with like the cheapest Mexicans that they can find. And those are the people that we really don't want. Plus, you obviously also don't want to attract small homes like, 10 square foot trailer homes that just don't really pay, where you have to cut down on your margins, and it's all a hassle. Like you want people that are high intent, that have big homes where you actually make $20, $30, $40,000 on a roof, and they're committed and that ideally want to work with you as opposed to just any company, if that makes sense. So pretty much what you want to avoid is just running, cookie cutter ads like this. Went over this a lot of times on my channel. You just run like the same generic ads that everybody and their grandma is running right now online, then you're just going to get the same old generic like bad leads essentially. Because if you think about it, multiple factors to this. Like if we talk about insurance, like some people put like free roof on their ad, or there's probably even less worse, but like, putting like a cheap price on this, like it's just going to attract cheap people. And then the main thing, honestly, about this is not the price. Like we run some ads that kind of like mention something like this and it's still working. The main thing about this is that those ads look the same like, everybody else's ads. Like if you think about it, I'm a homeowner and I scroll through Facebook, for example, and I see one ad after another, everything looks the same. I just start skipping those ads. I'm not going to click on this. I'm not looking at this ad, even if you slap your logo on, thinking, hey, this seems like a good company, let me reach out to those guys. The only people that actually do sign up on those ads, if you think about it, are the ones that sign up on every single ad that they see. And what kinds of people are those? Like, those are probably not the kind of people that look for a good roofing company. Those are the people that want to reach out to as many people as possible to just get the cheapest price or whatever. So you want to avoid running stuff like this. What we run is typically more like video ads, work pretty well. Like you can hire actors. We, for example, have a network of actors that we hire. You can record some ads yourself. We have a content team, like video editors and whatever, that can kind of like create voiceover ads. So just to show you like a few examples so you can get an idea of like how something like this could look like, I'm going to show you some stuff.
East Texas homeowners, did you know your roof may qualify for a free replacement through insurance? Thousands of local homeowners get brand new roofs with no cost, even after insurance claims were previously denied. Many people don't realize storm damage can be fully covered, and small leaks or cracks can turn into major costly problems in just a few weeks. That's why we handle the hard part. We guide you through the entire insurance process and make sure you get what you're entitled to. Just click the Learn More button below and take our quick 30-second roof insurance quiz. We'll get back to you within 24 hours. For a limited time, we're also offering a free, no obligation.
You can see, like, you get the idea. It's a simple ad. It's not rocket science, but it looks clean. It looks more unique than what 90% of people are running. Has your brand on, and it just hits the points that it needs to hit, especially when it comes to like insurance and storm. Like, obviously we have, the reason I'm showing you this ad is because I don't care. Like, we have hundreds of ads that we run for roofers, a lot of winning ads, retail ads, insurance ads, financing ads, tile ads, metal roof ads, everything that you could ever think of. So this is just one example of like a very good ad that you could run, like, if there was just like hailstorm that hit. So I can show you another one just so you can kind of like get an idea.
Oklahoma and River Valley homeowners, did the last storm leave hidden damage on your roof? Small cracks now can lead to big problems later, costing you thousands of dollars. That's why we're offering a free drone roof wellness check. No climbing, no guessing, just a fast, safe drone inspection with HD photos sent straight to your phone.
Very simple. So you can see like all of those have kind of like slightly different angles, but it's all pretty much the same thing. And those work. Like, they work pretty well because like you just run different stuff than, shit like this that's just not really relevant to a lot of people. Plus, you're just gonna naturally attract high quality people because your ads are high quality and they actually hit on some good points. And in a 30-second to a minute long video ad, you can just tell people so much more than in like a super quick like image with a headline. And again, those are just examples. Typically, we line up 10, sometimes 20 ads to even start off with to really just test different angles and things. Sometimes with real people, with actors, with voiceovers. The point is, you want to have some good ads in the front end that actually hit the point home. Like if we just had hail and we target zip codes with people that were hit by hail, we want to call those people out and we want to catch their attention. We want to be unique and leave an impression. And then from there, essentially, we want to ideally put them to like, or send them to like a good landing page. The reason I don't like those kind of like quick forms where people click like 3 buttons and they're a lead is because there's like no friction. So you're going to get a lot of low quality, low intent leads. I rather want to weed out the tire kickers and actually send them to like a good page, which will look something like this, which obviously, again, congruent with what they clicked on. That's a super important thing. And the reason you don't want to send people just to your website or homepage is because on your website you have a million things about different things in your story and retail and commercial and whatever you do with your company. So what you want is something that's very straightforward and clear to understand. So if they click on an insurance ad talking about, hey, click the link below and get your insurance assessment or whatever, you want the whole landing page, so the page that they actually land on, to be exactly that. So have it be congruent. And I like to call those funnels sales funnels essentially, because at the end of the day, like, you can put your brand on, you can make it look very clean, and it just leaves a good first impression. Almost nobody puts in this effort. Like if you look at your like average ad, like if you go online and look at a roofing ad, click on it, nobody puts in the effort to actually build out a dedicated page like this. And you can talk about so much. Like you can actually pre-sale people and leave a very good first impression, which goes a very long way when it comes to actually closing the deal. You can talk about reviews. You can talk about what you help people with, and it's all insurance specific in this case. You can put reviews on here. You can put photos of projects. Like you can see those reviews even talk about insurance, because this is kind of like what we really want to target right now. And even the next step, like what's happening after you sign up, like set some fair expectations, and then just keep it short and easy. Like you don't need to overwhelm people with too much information, but give them enough so they have something to chew on and a good first impression. And then from there, we can just kind of like qualify them. So we can say, do you own or rent your home? If they rent, obviously we want to disqualify them. Can ask what type of roof they have. Like if you want to disqualify certain types of roofs, typically for insurance, like obviously shingle roofs are the ones that you want to go after. Then have they already filed a claim? If so, like do they need help with it, or was the claim maybe denied or underpaid? So you want to kind of like just get some more context on their situation. You want to weed out the tire kickers that can even take a couple minutes to answer a few questions, and you actually want to get more data than just like the name and the phone number. So this really just does good things, and it will just guarantee like a much higher quality lead if you think about it. And then from there, you can still ask for like, the address, and then, obviously the contact details and everything. Good thing about a funnel is you can even have like a phone number verification on here, so you don't get like BS numbers that you can't even reach. And this is the whole point. So once you have this pretty much done, like that's a good first pillar. Like this is going to generate you a good lead. You have a good ad, you have a good funnel. Is everything single lead going to be perfect? Absolutely not. That's just not how advertising works, but the numbers need to make sense. Like it's all about like bottom line, like are the numbers green? Is our ROI at 10 to 15x? And that can be, done in a lot of different ways. Like typically what we see is a $50 cost per lead, which I'm going to break down for you later. And then we can kind of like book in half of those. So there's $100 per booking, but we actually have high quality people that want to work with your company. And then you close that probably when there was just hail and you go through insurance, you're probably going to close it at least 40%. So you can see like how easy this stuff, can actually work out number wise. If you make $20, $30, $40,000 on a roof. And essentially the pillar 2 would be the targeting. So now we have the ads, we have the funnel. Where do we show those ads and funnels? And this is also super important. Like honestly, the main thing that I'm going to be talking about is geo-targeting. So you want to not just go super broad, but actually, especially when it comes to like storms, like you want to map out the area and see, okay, what areas make most sense to target. What I recommend is get a tool like interactive hail maps, which allows you to kind of like put your location in, and you can see exactly, okay, what zip codes were hit by hail. Pretty much the same process that you would probably do when you knock doors. Like you wouldn't just go into like any random neighborhood and just start knocking doors. If there was a storm, you would map out the area and strategically plan, okay, where should we knock? Where did we just have hail? That's what everybody does. But you're going to be in a much better boat because everybody just knocks the same doors, driving out the same neighborhoods. People are getting like harassed by door knockers while you just sit home, drink your coffee, and people actually reach out to you because you have good ads that are running in that area. It's just so much more leverage. And essentially from there, like let's say you have the zip codes that you want to target, and Meta, for example, allows you to just put the zip codes in, put the specific areas in, whatever you want to do. Typically I like to leave it relatively broad. Like the ads mostly will do the targeting for you. That's just like how the algorithm works. But you still can put some stuff in like household income, like top 5%, top 10%. So you really go after like a more wealthier people, that probably have bigger homes where you make more money on, on the deal. And they also have money to pay their deductible, because that's also like a big thing. You don't want to attract like broke leads that expect a completely free roof and then their deductible is $5,000 and they can't pay it. That's also not what you want. So pretty much this is really what we do targeting wise. And then another quick thing that we also do a lot of the times is there's tools out there that allow you to just extract. I mean, this is probably also something you might be doing if you run door knocking, for example. You're able to extract lead lists or contact lists of homeowners who are in areas that were hit by hail. So you can say, okay, like those zip codes I want to scrape homeowners that are, have an income level of at least, XYZ, or like here, for example, a home value of at least $1 million. And then you just scrape those and you can literally put that list into Facebook, and that can be 10, 20, 30, 40,000 people. And you just put it in there and you can push out your ads to those people. So now you don't even leave targeting up to chance. You're actually putting in a list, and you can just hit this list with like your ads on social media. So you can see how powerful this stuff can be if you really have your targeting dialed in and you have a good funnel with good ads. And then the third thing that you really want is a good backend and nurturing and booking system. This is going to really depend on the company. I can't really tell you exactly what to do here. I can just tell you what we do. Typically, when I work with roofers, we have call centers or like an actual sales team that's US based. So when a lead comes in, we can call them within like 3 to 5 minutes. Honestly, especially when it comes to like insurance and stonework, like a lot of people are like urgently looking for a roofer and they want to get it done fast. And if you don't respond to them within like, if you wait 3-4 hours, like they might have already gone to another roofer and boom, you lost the deal, lost $20,000-$30,000. So pretty much that's why you got to have like a good sales team. And my philosophy is like, especially if you're, an established roofing company, you don't want your sales guys, same way as you don't want them to waste 80% of their time knocking doors, you don't want them to waste 80% of their time just calling leads, chasing after leads, trying to reach them, because a lot of the times it needs a couple touch points. And then the second thing, like I said, was speed to lead, clock around 7 days a week. So that's why we have a sales team that actually, calls the leads, qualifies them on the phone, in and out. Is it the homeowner? Are they financially qualified? Do they have any type of damage? What's their roof age? And then if they're qualified, we actually book the appointment, so that way, our roofers can just kind of like drive there and close the deals. You're probably like, I would recommend if you, don't have that, just kind of like get a couple like setters or people that can actually take care of this. And then another thing that's really cool is like text nurturing. So we have like an AI bot that just reaches out to the leads right away. So there's kind of like a machine that runs 24/7. I'm not going to go too in depth. There's like a full video on my YouTube channel talking about this. But essentially, when a lead comes in, they immediately receive a text message, even if it's on a Sunday evening. And then if they reply, we have the bot kind of like qualifying them and booking them in. Just kind of like going back to like speed to lead. Like we don't want to lose out on any business. So kind of like having that two-way booking machine where we don't have any leads fall through the cracks. We follow up for up to 100 days, like really, really efficient. It's just really good, especially with the text nurturing, because it's like, it's automated and it's running 24/7. Like the bot never sleeps. So combine that with a good human sales team and you're going to be golden. And essentially this is how we achieve very good booking rates. And then the last thing that I really want to talk about is like automated text and email, reminders and nurturing. So it's always good, especially with insurance. Like they could pretty much be picking any company. Because like, either way they're going to get their roof replaced through insurance. So you want to kind of like nurture them as much as possible to a point where like they feel really comfortable with you as a company and they want to choose you over any other company. So what that means in practice is, for example, typically what we do is we build out backend nurturing systems, like again, emails and text messages talking about the company, the vision, the history, maybe the owners, maybe some reviews, some photos of projects, whatever it is. And we just create a couple touch points, because there's really multiple things, like, and this is leading up to the appointment, right? So there's something that's called the familiarity bias, where if people, get exposed to your company and your brand over and over again, they will subconsciously trust you a lot more. And they will already kind of like make the decision, okay, that's the company I want to work with, especially if you send them like good stuff, like reviews and stuff that they can look into. It really just helps like get them, gain their trust. Trust is a huge thing. And by the time you knock at their door, they already know, hey, it's all, like I said, flipping the table. Like they reach out to you. They click on your ad because they liked it and left an impression. They went through your funnel, answered your questions. They reached out to you. Now we book them in. And then they're receiving like nurturing, emails, text messages. So by the point you knock at their door, like they already know, like, I want to work with this company. Like, are you going to have a 80-90% close rate? Probably not, but you don't have to. Even if it's 30-40%, you're going to be good, because like the numbers just make so much sense. Back to my presentation, what we typically do is we do like what we call like an ROI breakdown. This right here is our reverse engineering projection calculator. So in this thing, we can essentially put in the projections that we have with the advertising, like what we want to reach, and then after say 30 or 90 days, we can put in the current. So what are the numbers we're actually hitting? So right now I just want to focus on the projections, because like I can put the numbers in here for you and just put it into perspective how easy it is to really get a good return on investment on your ads if you do it right. So average ticket size, let's just be conservative and say it's between $15,000 and $20,000. So 17.5K. I mean, there's going to be some big homes, there's going to be some smaller homes, so let's just go with that. I think that's a good conservative numbers. Profit margin on insurance is probably honestly going to be 40%, because insurance just has much better margins, but let's just say 35% to kind of like be a little more conservative. Then monthly ad spend. If you spend $100 a day, that's $3,000 a month. That's not too much money if you think about it. You close one roof and you have that back times 2 when it comes to profit. Like, it's easy. So $3,000 a month, and I would consider that a pretty low budget, but you can start off with that in the first month. And then cost per lead, let's just say $50. That's typically what we see. Like, it's still like you can get $10 or $20 leads, but those are probably going to be garbage. Like, that's why I like having that landing page funnel with like some qualifications, some video ads and stuff, so the people we're getting are actually serious. So we're paying about $50 for a lead, meaning out of $3,000 in ad spend, we get 60 leads. So you can see it automatically calculates this right here. Lead to booking percentage. We typically see 50% from, us calling the leads, qualifying them, and booking them, which is a good percentage, but even if it's just 40%, like I want to give you like a very conservative example right here. Say 40% booking rate. That leaves us with 24 appointments that we got, and the cancellation rate should really be like 1 to 0, but let's just say 10%, like 1 in 10 actually cancels. Might happen because they found another roofer or whatever happens. So that would mean 10% would mean out of the 24 bookings we got, 3 appointments canceled, so we're left with 21 approved appointments. Now, let's also factor in the show rate. Like sometimes you knock at their door and they're just not going to be there. Again, if you do good nurturing and stuff, it should not really happen, but let's just say show rate is 85%, because there's going to be a drop off at any stage at scale. So out of the 21 approved appointments, we had 18 that actually showed up that you talked to. Now, When we go to the qualified percentage, like that should really be 100% because you're not driving out to an appointment that's not qualified. So let's just say 95% in case there's like somebody that, I don't know, lied to you on the phone or whatever, and they're not really the homeowner or not really qualified. So again, it's leaving you with 18 showed qualified appointments. People that actually reach out to you, that are qualified, they're committed, they want a new roof, it's insurance. So closing percentage, 30% is probably very conservative. Like, you know your numbers better than I do, but I would say on retail, 30% is like really reasonable. Like, that's pretty much what we see. But insurance, you can probably get it up to 40%, to be honest with you. So that alone will leave you with 8 deals. Now it's automatically calculating out of, like, let's say we have 17.5K average ticket size. You're gonna have $140,000 in revenue out of $3,000 in ad spend. This is how easy it is. Obviously, you know, we have to factor in the margin, so this is obviously not gross profit. So if we go down here, essentially, you can see all your numbers in here. That's why we have this calculator. You can see cost per booking, cost per show, cost per acquisition. If you can spend $375 to acquire a $20,000 roof, you're going to be printing. Like, this is what I mean when I say you have a machine where you put $1 in and get $15 or $20 out. So your return on ad spend is actually going to be 46x, and your return on investment, I don't know, factoring in whatever else you spent, maybe 28. Gross profit, actually, net profit is going to be $49,000 if you factor in like 35% profit margin. So yeah, obviously you probably have to kind of like pay your sales guys, whatever. But this is how good this stuff can work, and you can probably already see how much buffer there's. Like, even if some things go wrong in the first month and you got to do some testing, maybe your cost per lead is $60. Maybe your lead to booking rate, okay, that's already conservative. Maybe, I don't know, whatever happens, the show up rate goes down to 80%. So 80%, and then maybe your close rate instead of 40% is just, I don't know, 25%. It's obviously much worse if you think about it, but it's still gonna be working. Like, essentially, 25%. Still gonna be working. You're still making $70,000. You're still making a 23x return on investment, like $24,000 net profit. It's so easy to make this work for roofing if you do it right, as opposed to kind of like running the cheapest of the cheapest ads, low friction, and just getting like bombarded with shitty leads that just don't close. Like, all you need is a sales funnel that attracts good leads. This is how easy it can be. So pretty much once you have that, again, you have this machine where you put $1 in and get $10, $15, $20 out. Sales guys are going to be happy and actually stay with you, because why wouldn't they? If they make a lot of money and they don't even have to knock doors, like, you know, at every other company. You know, you have year-round consistency, because even if the storm season stops, you have the system, and you can apply the same stuff. I have videos on my YouTube channel for that, for retail jobs. Like, even if there's no storms, you still have the system. You have a tangible cost per acquisition, which allows you pretty much to scale unlimitedly. Like, if you have the operations for it, if you have the hires, if you have the sales guys and the crews and everything that you need, and you know for a fact for every $500 I put into ads, I get a $20,000, you know, roof back. You can just repeat that as many times as you really want. Obviously, there's a ceiling to it. Like, at one point, you get diminishing returns, but that's like, unless you're spending like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a day, it's very scalable. It really is. And it's also going to add a lot of like enterprise value to your business, because like, if somebody wants to acquire your business and they ask you what's your cost per acquisition, and you can't tell that to them because, like, yeah, I don't know, some months we do this, some months we do that, and we just knock doors. Like, your company's not worth anything. While if you actually build a brand and you have an actual cost per acquisition, like, it's going to change everything for you. And then obviously you're also outperforming your competitors, and you actually build a brand. So you see all of those benefits. If you make it work, this can be really nice. So if you want to implement that stuff, you can obviously do it yourself following this video. You can reach out to another agency, whatever. I do work with roofers. So if you want to, you can book a free, you know, strategy call with me personally to talk about your roofing business. No obligation. I'm happy to sit down with you for an hour, just plan out a strategy for your business going into the storm season, or even 2026 in total, and we can still see what we want to do from there. So first link in the description is where you can book. And if you got any questions, please feel free to drop them down below in the comments. Always happy to answer any questions and help you out with whatever. Have a good day.